Hello and welcome to Universal Law Snippets. This month we are focusing on the law of polarity. Now, for a long time, I had a difficult time understanding this law completely because polarity means opposites, right? When we think of opposites, we are thinking of hot, cold, maybe love, hate, maybe up, down, north, south, anything. And as I have contemplated this particular law over the years, I have realized that there is not really a whole lot of actual, hardcore, extreme polarities in our life outside of nature, right? Our minds tell us that there are, poles of emotions and everything, but in actuality, all emotions and most decisions and everything operate on a spectrum scale. And so when we are looking at even hot and cold, right? There is extreme hot, there is extreme cold, but there's like a gazillion points along the spectrum of warm, cool, chilly, fiery, whatever, all over, okay? And so the extremes in our life are only extremes because we make them to be extremes in our mind. And I will admit that this is something that I have often done in the past. I am someone who is like, oh my gosh, we're never going to do this. I am called out a lot by my husband because he says, why do you always have to make it so we never have to do that? We just are not doing it right now, Christy. It doesn't mean that we're never doing it. It just means that right this moment, we are not doing that. And so the never or the always, that is something that it happens in our mind and it keeps us stuck in this fixed mindset. And so when we can let go those extremes, we can start moving a little bit more fluidly through life. Which is why when I think of the law of polarity, I don't really like to think of it as the law of polarity in that sense. I like to think of it as the law of discernment, because when we are looking at things and we are discerning on which way to go, it feels a little bit nicer, right? Because we are put in situations every single day, every single moment of the day where we are making a choice and choosing to go in one direction or another. We're going to do this, we're going to do that. We want to eat this apple instead of this banana. We are going to go to work today versus stay at home and have, a day where we are just kind of chilling out on the couch. Everything is a choice in our lives. And so instead of the law of polarity where everything feels so extreme and everything, I look at it as the law of discernment. And when we are making choices, we are kind of almost using like an internal compass to direct us towards the life that maybe we are wanting to live, or maybe towards the direction of where we are learning a lesson that we need to learn, and that we are moving towards whatever it is that we are wanting in our lives. So the law of polarity is a really great tool to look at when we are trying to decide what we want to attract, right? Several years ago, I took a class and they were talking about the universal laws, and they said that polarity creates clarity. And I said, oh, that makes a lot of sense, right? Because sometimes when we are looking around us, we are seeing things that we may want, or we are seeing things that we kind of sort of want, but maybe not in that exact way. And so it kind of helps direct us and direct our internal compass to pull in more of what we want. So that's going to be our focus this month, the law of polarity or the law of discernment. It's not so extreme and hardcore like it sounds sometimes. To me, it's just really a way to kind of learn to be more fluid, learn to detach ourselves from outcomes, and kind of just, it's a really good learning tool to learn to listen to our intuition, learn to see what it is we really want to attract in our life, and learn to move throughout our days with a little bit more surrender and letting go of the situation. So if you have any thoughts on the law of polarity, I would love to hear them. I think this is a super fascinating law. I mean, I say that with all laws, right? I do. But I do think that this is a really fun one to kind of play around with, particularly, and I find it super delightful to contemplate, like, oh, what am I looking at? What is going on in my life? And how can I play with like attracting more of this versus that? There's always something that we are attracting in our lives that we're like, could this get better? Could this get any better, universe? I think it could. So let's play around with that. But that is the Law of Polarity basics. Come back and join me so we can talk about how I'm going to work it into our human design and where you can see that in your charts. And I will catch you guys next time. Bye.